Right, and this one included the automatic.
Well, I said I wanted to make sure that you were okay with everything, so. Okay. Apple's calling me. My son. Ready. Good evening. Welcome to Wednesday, May 28th Commissioner meeting. If you'll join me for pledge and a short prayer, we'll get started. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty, justice for all. Heavenly Father, we ask that you bless our nation. We ask for guidance while conducting county business. We ask that you grant us wisdom that the decisions that we make not only benefit our community, but are pleasing to you. All these things we ask in your name. Amen. Have the commissioners had an opportunity to review the minutes previous meeting? And if so, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Have the commissioners had an opportunity to review the claims? And if so, do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded to approve claims. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Have the commissioners had an opportunity to review the payroll? And if so, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
I second.
Motion is made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Next up, we have Mark Cronk, Jerry Walden from Land Bank for an update.
I appreciate this chance on behalf of the Land Bank to address the commissioners. I think we were told, a few meetings ago, it might be a good idea to just maybe come and touch base with you all and maybe tell you what we've been doing and see if you have any questions. Do I have time to go through all these?
No, about half.
Those are notes from something else. I have
I
one
was gonna
page.
say, do you have
I
the
have a half a
Reader's,
page.
do you have the Reader's Digest version?
Yeah, I
We'll
do.
it.
I do. Cliff Notes. Okay, on behalf of the Land Bank, we have a website now that's been pretty well established. So if anybody wants to go to Newcastle Land Bank Corporation, you can see the land bank there, what we're doing. It's a Facebook situation. You need to log in and set up an account, but you can see that. Bill Aitchison, Zach Burcham, Jerry Cash, Ed Hill, Lisa Lovelace, Mike Broyles, Jerry and myself and Mike McCown are members of the board. Joel is our legal kingpin, as he is in most places around the county. Is it okay to use that? Is that a proper phrase? All right. The land bank was established, was 22, and so in about 3 years, we've done pretty well. I guess we can stand there and pat ourselves on the back, but I think you all know why we were established. We had heard, I think a year or so ago, that there may be some talk the county might be considering. I don't know if you've moved on that or not, but
It kind of stalled, so, trying to get everybody it's like herding cats sometimes.
okay,
So-
that's true. I know, they were glad that we were able to start this one. It's been pretty successful. We've been gaining some momentum as we go along and have several properties. We'd like to thank you all for making it possible for us to have those properties. And I know that you and we know that it's very much more, let's put a more positive situation for Newcastle to have those properties back on the tax rolls and being owned by somebody 50,000, well, not 50,000, that's twice rounded. You know, we got to say
Yes,
15,000 miles away in Russia or something
yeah.
that they bought on the internet. So, and I know we had situations like that. So I was told once somebody bought a property they thought they had a factory on, they got over here and it wasn't there. Anyway, without further ado, I'll turn it over to Jerry. Jerry can tell you what we're doing financially. And instead of standing here and talking at you, we'll just see if you have any questions for us when he's finished.
First of all, I want to say that Mike Broyles was going to come and give the portion about the properties that we dealt with, but he's at a family gathering for a funeral, so prayers out to he and his family.
Yes.
Got the first seed money back in January 2022 from the foundation. They seeded us with about $5,000 check. Since then, the committee has actually been pretty solid. The Hamiltons moved out of state and Mark took that place as the president. I'm the treasurer. Lisa serves as Mark said, and of course, Joel does all the legal beagle stuff for us. It's the blueprint that Joel came up with was once we got it settled and voted upon and solidified, it's been pretty easy to follow. It's an easy system. You know, we've gone from that $5,000 seed money to where we're right at $120,000 in our bank account now. The things that people are doing with the properties when they buy them, sometimes it's just an extension of what they have as a property now. Playgrounds, garages, whatever it may be. We went through a series there, Joel. I know he kept me busy going to the bank. We sold some properties that had structures on them. So we have some people who are rehabilitating those structures and going to put them back on the market. So we're not only improving the properties, but we're improving structures on some of these properties. We are in the process of getting one of our properties that has a structure that needs to come down. We're going to demo it, and the land bank is going to pay for that demo. When you go through that process, you have to get cutoffs from the utilities, so sometimes that takes a little bit of time. We have another property that the SWAT team's using. They don't want us to demo it yet because they're getting some practice, and the fire department wants to possibly finish the demolition on it when the SWAT team's finished. But when you go through that process, those structures have to be checked out. If there's asbestos in it, you have to go file with the state and all that stuff.
And believe it or not, somebody did express interest in buying that property.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't know how much is going to be left after the SWAT team and the fire department use it for training, but
So as Mark said, with your help, we've been able to do something here in our county seat that's been very positive. It's been exciting for me to see take place. It's worked, you know, the hard work that Joe put into helping us set it up, and our committee people, you know, we have bankers, we have realtors, we have just regular citizens. I represent the city on it. It's worked, and it's worked well. And we just, as Mark said, we felt like you deserved to hear something back from us once we got to this point. And at this time, I'll take any questions that you might have. Now, the blueprint's been set if the county wants to take the next step. What we're doing is working. So the blueprint's there. Joe's been from the very start of it, so it's going to be easy to start up if you do decide to go that route. Do you have any questions for us? Lisa, did you want to add anything? I meant to ask that. I wanted to mention that too. We have 3 realtors that we rotate these properties through that have structures on them. So they have the opportunity to put those out on their time, and they do get paid.
Hey, Lisa, wait.
Those are handy.
We offered it to every real estate office in Henry County to get on our rotation list. Only 3 responded. So those are the 3 we use.
And I think that's worked out well. And I think that is about as fair as you could be as a committee with the businesses here in town. So thanks, Lisa. I meant to ask that first part. Now, questions, any questions that you might have?
I don't have any questions. Just want to say thank you for your work that you've been doing. Good job. Thank you.
Well, again, thank you guys for helping us get this started, and thank you for your support. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Next up, we have the monthly treasurer's report. Do I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second.
Motions are made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0. We also have the Weights and Measures Monthly Report from April the 16th to May the 15th. Do I have a motion?
Motion to accept.
I second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Don't see anybody. The next 3 items. Nope, we're all the way down, looks like, to Braden.
I gave you guys 2 different quotes for box culverts. The third place we can get box culverts, they won't quote, well, they will not give us a quote because they're actually a supplier for these contractors here or these companies here. So, but this structure is, obviously concrete box structure, but it's would be for 500 South, just west of Wilbur-Wright Road is a structure looking to replace.
Obviously, these 2 quotes, do you have a preference as far as quality? Are they both good for you?
I mean, I would recommend we go with the cheaper one, Civil Con.
Yep.
That's where we're getting the other box culverts from. Good to work with, and we're getting them just about as fast from them as we can anybody, so.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
My second.
Motion's made and seconded to accept the bid for $71,319.86 from Silvercon for the culvert. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
And then just a little update on the box culverts that we already have ordered. First one was delayed just a little bit, but the first one's supposed to be delivered, June 6th. And then the second one is coming in, within the first couple weeks of July. And then the third one will be, about a month after that. First couple weeks of August is when we're looking at getting that, the third one coming in, so. Hopefully we'll get those 3 roads opened up this summer.
I hope so.
Me too.
Because now I'm starting to get those people who are realizing they're closed and are going, hey.
Yeah.
I keep telling them we're working on it, so.
And then, last thing is, I gave you a copy of the yearly reports there, if I could just get, signatures on that tonight, so we can submit that in the state, so. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Okay, next up. Debbie, do you have anything?
No, I don't think so. Just, we did make we did put a note on the door today that the Veterans Office, effective Monday, will be in the Masonic Building until I don't know when. But we did, is getting him set up, and we'll have him moved in the Masonic Building on Monday, so that once the renovation starts, then part of my staff can go in his office.
Well, I guess it's a good thing I went down and told him this afternoon or this morning that he was moving.
We didn't make that until we knew you'd talked to him.
Okay.
We waited until after you talked to him. So, and then Jeff went down and talked to him as well.
Okay.
So we'll start moving out. Jeff will start setting up next week in the Veterans Office, and then in the Justice Center where we used to absentee vote, to set my office up. And then the following week, we hope to start moving everything out, possibly then the 16th, or the following, my staff will be completely off the floor and everything will be out just to start the renovations.
Okay. Alrighty. Lisa, do you have anything for the quarters office? Brian? Well, this is gonna go quick. Think we're through that then. I did who what? Oh, I thought it was
Under department reports is where she put the sheriff's
Oh, I
contract.
thought it was under new business, sorry. Okay, we have the approval of the sheriff's contract. Joel, you reviewed that and you don't see any issues.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded, approved the contract with sheriff. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
Steve, you guys realize too, that was for January through June, not for the entire year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, next up, we have the Expo Center Grant Financial Update.
Well, luckily for you, she's gonna do most of the talking.
Oh, hello. Tina Henderson here with Mendenhall and Associates, the grant administrator with the Expo Center. I also have Brianna Chapman with me, the president of the Expo Center. And I provided you with a summary. And so I'm not sure how much you would like for me to review. Um,
Reader's Digest version.
The short version, okay, I can do that. So with that being said, I think most importantly, the last time we left, we wanted to make sure that we had the local match. And so I provided the documentation that shows the donations that have been received. The community foundation that is has pledged funds and committed their local, part of the local match. It's a dual purpose. Their local match is serving as philanthropic points from a foundation. So that'll give the project another 25 points. And then it's also a part of that 161,305. So we originally started with a local match of 162. That was the goal the Expo Board wanted to raise. Over the last 4 months, as we have sent line items out to bid just to make sure that those cost estimates are up to date, that we have everything that we need to complete that building. It was finalized that 161,305 will be the local match, and the Henry County Expo Center is supplying 125,921.73 as the local match. It's not all of the funds that have been raised, but we've also noted ineligible items, things that are not connected to the wall, like tables and chairs. So basically, it's anything that's not TVs if they're not connected, sound systems if they're not connected, they're ineligible. So roughly 12,395 of that originally 162,000 they wanted to raise is being set aside for some of those ancillary, what Okra calls ineligible. Then we also have Jim Ward is, I've spent the last 4 months looking at his work, sending different line items out to bid. And he has also volunteered his services to serve as a project manager. And so this project is going to have a double, really not double, but Jim's going to have in-kind services that'll amount to $12,000 that include project management, review of invoices. He's also sent line items out to bid to just really double check that cost estimate that we received in 2024. And Okra has approved his in-kind services to serve in that role. He'll be reviewing and initializing all of the pay applications that come in. He and the FBBH, the engineer, Dan Wright, will be working hand in hand together, and he'll be coordinating with the contractors, and he'll be the daily inspector on the job site and reporting to the engineers. So we really have the best of both worlds, having an engineer, an architect on board that's certified, and then we also have the Expo Board has hired and someone who's willing to donate their time. I don't want to say hired, he's donated with a tremendous amount of experience to serve in the role of overseeing construction activities out at the site. So with that being said, we are just excited to announce that they've raised the local match that was necessary through community donations, hospital donated, companies donated, the community really pulled together to meet that goal. And I provided just kind of a summary to everyone on really what's been completed. I think most importantly, the income survey that qualifies us for the national objective has been completed. And it's at 55.5% low to moderate income persons. And that survey is valid for 4 years. It can be utilized for that YMCA daycare center. It'll be utilized for this expo center. Any project down the road over the next 4 years that wants to utilize this 750,000 and can prove that it is a countywide benefit would be eligible to use that income survey. So just wanted to let you know, we'll be sending that survey out to Debbie and everyone here at the county and to the groups so that they have a copy of that. So other than that, I know I provided Debbie with a list of documents that we need to approve for the application, so I'll just take any questions. Brianna is here with me to take any questions that you have from us concerning the local match, the project, where we're at with the June 20th deadline.
Well, I commend you for raising the funds. That's, was kind of a monumental task in itself. So. that-
Same. A lot of hard work and heart went into it, so. Thank you guys.
Hopefully we can see some momentum and forward movement progress up there.
And I don't know if you already said this, but when would we expect to hear back? I might have missed you saying that. You submit the grant, when do you expect?
In August.
In
So it'll
August,
be
okay.
middle August, when we'll hear back. We are taking, within the next 30 days, you'll see a contract from FPBH. Since we've double checked the costs and it's an eligible item that can enter into a contract prior to award, the Expo Board wants to go ahead and do plans and specifications that prepares you for bidding. We cannot bid at this point in time, but we can get everything ready so that once the award happens, they're ready to move forward with that. Hopefully, that's saving us 3 to 4 months of waiting for those plans and specifications for bidding. And then the expense that the Expo Board will be paying on those plans and specifications will be valid for 18 months to be counted as local match. So if, let's say if it's not funded this first round in, it will be still eligible to be counted as local match. So there's no loss, really and truly. The Expo Board is really ready to get that building finished. And it's a step that I believe that's worth taking, so that we can keep moving and not hold them up with trying to follow that federal bidding process.
We just want to be able to hit the ground running when or if we are awarded funding. We can just hit the ground, go forward quickly. We're trying to check off all those boxes that can be done before.
Is there any timing interplay with the water project, which it's later than we expected to get the water funds?
Yeah, I expressed my concerns to Corey. Really, we need to at least have somewhat of a design to know how it's coming to our building.
Yeah.
And then we can move forward with that. Corey understands that. He's gonna see what he can do to maybe get, is it United that's doing the engineering?
I think so, yeah.
Kind of maybe do some pre-work. I don't know what his plan was, but I expressed my concern about that, just at least having the design. I know he wanted to be under design by April and the ready funds just aren't there yet, so hopefully he understands the urgency.
Any other questions from the commissioners?
Great work. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Joel and Debbie, I'm not sure, do we want to run these now or are we going to do those at the end? Okay. All right, so today, I'm not sure if you have these forms in front of you. I also brought them with me. I have a summary of what needs to be signed. These are the last 3 forms for the application, so we're ahead of the game. But again, I want to make sure that we have time to come back to another commissioner meeting if we need to. But really and truly, we've double checked. These are the final forms for the application. The first one is what's called the Henry County Local Match Resolution. And I can read this aloud and have the commissioners approve it, or I don't know how you typically run those. Okay,
Commissioners, it's in the back of your book. It's under your resolutions for you to approve at the end.
Yep, I see it.
okay. Debbie, did you put a resolution number on this resolution?
2025-05-28008.
Okay. All right, and so the resolution authorizing application submission and local match commitment Now therefore be it resolved by the Commissioners of Henry County, Indiana, the Henry County Commissioner President is authorized and prepared and submit an application for grant funding to address the Henry County Expo Center Building Number 1, the Banquet Hall project, and to execute and administer a resultant grant, including general administration and project management contracts and agreements pursuant to the regulations of the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs. Number 2, the Henry County Commissioners hereby commit the requisite local funds in the amount of $161,605 from the subrecipient, the Henry County Expo Center Board Incorporated, in the amount of $125,921.73, the Henry County Foundation, $23,683.27, and in-kind services allotted at $12,000 as matching funds for the said program. Such commitment to be contingent upon receipt of CDBG funding from the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs.
We're okay with everything. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Motions are made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
The next form does not need to be approved by the commissioners, but it is asking for the clerk, the auditor, and the commissioner president to sign what's called a local match letter. And it states the very same thing that we just read aloud in the resolution. The Henry County Expo Board Incorporated, the $125,921.73, the Community Foundation dollar amount, and the in-kind services. So I would just, and I think you have that form too. Yep, I would just ask that both of you sign this form as well. And then last but not least, we have what is called an application signature form. So tonight we're gonna, is going to kick off the commissioner signing the application signature form, and then Joel to sign as well. So on the application signature page, this can be approved. Some communities opt to approve it, but by approving the resolution to submit the application, you're also approving for signatures on this. We just ask for the chief elected official to sign number 2, and that's authorization of submission at the top of page 2. And then Joel would need to sign page 3, and status of site control, and Henry County owns the building of the expos.
You were okay with all that, Joel? Do we need to approve that, or what you said was okay by the? Do I have a motion?
Sorry.
Go
Motion
ahead.
to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
All right, and last but not least, I just want to let all of you know, we're holding a public hearing on June 11th at 7 PM. The Smith Building. It is our final public hearing. We're kind of shooting to get as many people out to this public hearing as possible, maybe 30 people to 50, whatever we can receive. We just want to make sure that we're reaching the public. But again, I just wanted to invite the commissioners, invite anyone that would like to attend to our final public hearing to hear the details of,
Time.
it is 7 PM. And I know Brianna and I are working on snacks. We're hoping to get some organizations to come in and do some drinks and snacks that evening too. So, again, we appreciate you. I want to just really express to the commissioners how much the Expo Board appreciates what you're doing for them, giving them this opportunity. They do reference it at every meeting I've been to, that they're very thankful for this opportunity to apply for this grant. All right, that's all I have.
Thank you.
And then Debbie, will you be sending me these forms tomorrow? Yeah, they don't have to be originals. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up, we have the fee schedule for our plan agreement for medical. I was hoping Stephanie would be here to help address that. Do you have any comments on this, Debbie?
And nothing's changed. I think everything's still the same. There were no changes.
I'll say, but just
The
to
same as last year.
yeah, I was told it was just a renewal. Just wanted to make sure and clarify.
Yes.
Do I have a motion to approve the fee schedule amendment?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carries 3-0. Next up, due to the construction, which we're all battling through, some of us frustratingly more than others. They're gonna kill the power in the courthouse for 2 days. So June the 19th is a holiday, so the courthouse will be closed anyway. We need a motion to close the courthouse on Friday, the 20th of June, since there will be no power in this building for those 2 days. If that's okay with my colleagues, I would entertain a motion to do so.
So moved.
Can in your motion, you make sure that you put that it's the courthouse, just the courthouse and not the Henry County Office Building or the Justice Center?
Yes, it's
So that
just this
people are
building.
clear about that.
It's just the old courthouse is all that's being closed for those 2 days. This building we are in. The rest of county government will be operating.
And I modify my motion accordingly.
So I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. I don't see Rachel here. This report, we have an informational for the interested parties. The final decision has been issued for the air permit application referenced above for Draper. We're receiving this notice because the company or property is nearby being permitted. So this is just information saying they've approved their air quality permit. We've already approved the resolution. Do I hear anything from the public? Time's up.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, I just want to publicly thank you, Steve, for all the hard work that you're doing on this rehab. You are here probably 40 to 50 hours a week, and I just want to publicly thank you for all the hard work that you're putting into it.
Okay. Thank you. Hearing nothing else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We are adjourned. Did you want to say something, Rick?
Yeah, that was the whole reason I stopped up here. I mean, are we back on the record here? I want this speech to be known.
If it's okay with the other commissioners. Do you want to reconvene?
Can we reconvene?
Are we okay with that?
Motion, yep.
Sure.
All right, well, not getting into too much of the detail you and me talked about what was going over there the other night. The speech I told you, I said I've been working on a little bit. Bear with me, like I said, I'm not good at speeches, so. But anyway, you guys know the Constitution, the Bill of Rights and all that stuff. They're handcuffs for you, not me, you, public officials. You swore to them. I'm not going to get into too much of this, but I've been cut off numerous times for trying to expose the crimes that are going on in this town. I keep being arrested. Still never, not, there's only one person in this county, and I'm not going to say it right off the bat, you know, they know who they are, that have turned around and honored their oath and done anything I've asked them to do so far. It's required of the person who is doing this position that you all chose to do. You guys all refuse to do anything about the sheriff, the regular city cops, all of it. I mean, you know, like when the chief turned around and told me file a tort to get his guys to stop saying my name out in public when I'm live on channels that clearly not my name. Not one of these press passes have my name on it. They have my business. Doxed in the public constantly, yelling from police cars, the whole 9 yards. You know, free speech is absolute unless it incites violence. I never incited any violence. I called someone a cunt and said that they were tripping over the Constitution of the United States.
I would appreciate you
I-
not.
Well,
because-
I need it said for the record.
Well,
Anyway, and even then, I didn't actually call that person that. I directed it to viewers talking about people who violate our rights. You know, Brandenburg versus Ohio. Government cannot punish speech unless it directly incites immediate imminent danger or violence. These are things you should know. You can't be arrested, you know, for this stuff. You know, like burning flags, saying fuck, like my sign up here. You know what I mean? All constitutionally protected. You guys can shake your head all you want. Last time I was here, you guys called the law on me for viewpoint discrimination. You know, if I can wear a shirt in a courtroom that says fuck the draft, I can clearly say that anywhere. Any other word. Cohen versus California. That's for the guy we're talking about. Wearing the shirt that said, you know, screw the draft. New York versus Sullivan. That goes back to you officials when I was telling you guys you can't be cutting people off. I got a right to say what I want. If you don't like what I have to say, or the people have to say, you can go flip burgers. Turn in your positions. Someone else who will really appreciate it would love to have that position. I mean, I'm not asking you guys to do anything that, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. If I break the law, obviously, come get me. You know what I mean? Same with you. You know, any of you. You got police officers running around here, expired tags, 2 years old, county workers. I've recorded them all today, 5 of them. These ain't the police officers this time. These are your county workers who work in this building. Let me tell you something. Don't interrupt me. It's my
Joel,
time to speak.
are we gonna continue? Is this acceptable speech? Okay.
So you guys gonna cut me off and you're not gonna let me finish?
They can control the length of the meeting. And public comment is not required unless it's a public hearing.
Well, but you chose to let me speak, so now you're not gonna let me speak and finish this?
They can set a
I'll say there was a reasonable time.
So the other guys up here get to sit up here for 5-10 minutes, I mean, and say whatever they got to say, but the public who pays your salaries only get a minute or so? I mean-
You're up here, aren't you?
Well, right, but you know.
Then I
had to wait
suggest
for
you
to
do your
read-
thing and
do-
start
Well, I'm
talking,
trying,
because
but you
if
guys
not,
keep interrupting me.
I'm
which
not
is
interrupting
Also
you.
against the law,
Start talking or it'll end.
you know.
Could I ask you what you're asking us to do? Because I'm still not clear.
I want people to obey their oaths. I want someone to do something about the crooked stuff that was going on. During the
I-
parade, for example, I was doing what I'm doing right now, constitutionally protected activity. I'm recording. I recorded the parade. I asked your guys' sheriff who was passing out these. Let me get one. He told me straight out, no, why would I give you one? You hate cops. I don't hate cops. My son's a cop. I don't hate you guys, none of you. I want you to honor your oath. I want
So
you
what
to
would
do
you
your
like
deals.
us-
I put in FOIA request after FOIA request after FOIA request. They've all been denied. He returned one that said he couldn't read it. So under those FOIA request laws and all that stuff, it's your responsibility to help with the accommodations so you can read them and understand them. I've showed you guys the laws. I've showed everybody, you know, the federal laws, everything. It don't make a difference. I'm still being threatened with arrest. The people over here at this courthouse still will not let me come in. Okay, fine. You don't want me to come in to document my interactions since your cameras are not audioed. You know, I need a public record for myself. Your guys' stuff keeps coming up missing. Every time I've gotten any kind of video, which the person who's gotten me all my videos has 100% great. Not one time has that person ever turned around and violated my rights. In fact, has gone out of their way to make sure that my rights are protected. You know, especially even after a couple different times, spending a couple hours up in here, basically after when they should have been home, still trying to help me out. Greatly appreciated. The only person in this whole county. The chief of police won't do anything. The sheriff won't do anything. The state highway patrol won't do anything. They all think it's a joke. The Constitution and Bill of Rights is not a joke. Like I said, it's a handcuff. They handcuff you. If you're not going to honor your oaths, do your jobs properly, make sure things are being done. Make sure people like me for free speech saying the word that I said, you might not like it. It doesn't make a difference. Your feelings don't trump my rights. They don't trump the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. If you don't like the position, like I said, there's plenty of burger joints. You can go flip burgers. I got no ifs, ands, or buts. You know, it's pure, it's just stupidity. I shouldn't have to be jailed, threatened. Last time I was here, like I said, you guys called 5 armed guards, armed thugs is the way I took it, because you didn't like my sign up here that says, fuck the system. You might not like it. I don't care. I don't like it either. I shouldn't have to do that. Like the time I walked around here wearing a Guy Fawkes mask for 4 days because the police refused to do their job. It took me 4 days to walk around protesting on the streets. And then finally someone from Washington, D.C. came down here and made this city do their job. Do I got to go that route again? You know what I'm just saying? I mean, I'm asking an honest, legit question. I mean, everybody keeps telling me, file a tort. Why should I have to take money from him, her, him, these people? Why should I have to take money from anybody from this county for someone to do what's right? You got laws in place for a purpose. None of them are being honored. And until they are, I'm going to keep being here and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. You know, like I said, you guys is the thing I told you guys about where the sheriff, you know, trying to figure out who threw me in the Marion County Jail. How'd that happen? No court order, no nothing. Disappeared me in the middle of the night. No access to my phone calls, no access to the computer to access anything, no contact to an attorney, no contact to family, no contact to a bail bondsman, no nothing. Straight up put me in a jail cell, disappeared me into a county. I've never lived a day in my life.
I have no control.
Well,
over
I
what he
understand you
does.
don't have any control of that.
So
Sproles admitted straight out the other day on Memorial Day on film, he did it purposely and that he don't care what the reason is. I can spit on a sidewalk and I'm going to end up in Marion County in a gladiator camp. Maximum security for saying leaky cunt, to use the term again. I have to say it because that's what the whole case was about. But I'm just saying.
I would appreciate if.
Well,
you stopped that.
Believe me, I wish I didn't have to keep repeating that.
Well, you don't have to.
Unfortunately,
We've all got the gist of it,
Well,
and enough's enough.
well,
because
but to be
I'm
locked up
sorry,
with
there are other
murderers,
people that
let me
watch this
speak.
meeting.
To be locked up with murderers, rapists, pedophiles, federal, people in a 23-hour lockdown for a B misdemeanor.
I
Think
have
about
a
that. Maximum
question. I
security.
have a statement, and then I'm going to make a motion to close the meeting. I'm still unclear what exactly you want us to do.
I need someone to do what's right and make these people do what they're supposed to do.
I
No
don't
matter
know.
where I'm going,
I don't know
it doesn't work.
I don't know what you mean is right, and I don't know who you mean by these people. I've never had a conversation.
Your
with you.
sheriffs,
You want
your
our
chiefs of
sheriff
police,
to do what's
the
right.
state highway patrolmen that work here,
And if
your
there's-
judges over here in the
there's
courthouse who
something-
twist words and
Okay.
you
there's-
asked, I'm trying to tell you, and you're just
No,
still talking.
No, I know now. I know the sheriff and what's right. If they've done something that's not right in your eyes, then I think what Steve
It's
has
not whether it's in my eyes,
suggested-
it's the law.
Then I think what you
You
would
got a guy,
advise them
he
to
literally
pursue
threatened
legal-
me the other day with one of his friends and told me that his friends would take care of me. Why he's in uniform? That's an outright threat. Generally, and definitely Steve, every time I'm out, I'm usually armed to the teeth. I have not one weapon on me. When he made that comment, all the weapons stayed at home. So I want you guys all to know, I love my life, straight up. My grandkids, my family, all of it. Might not like my living conditions at the moment, but that's an easy change. Believe me, got no intentions of ever trying to fight one of these cops, not ever, So something happens, and I keep telling you guys over and over and over and over that this systematic abuse and shit keeps happening, and they're your employees, our employees. They're not doing their jobs. They're violating the badge that they're wearing, the oath that they swore.
So is your issue specifically with the sheriff's
It's the
department?
whole crooked system over there.
Over at the sheriff's
The jail,
department?
the
Okay.
prosecutors.
It's just helpful
everybody
if you
who-
are more clear
everybody
about
who-
what you're saying. Okay, so your issues with the sheriff's department,
If you guys would ever honor a FOIA request, other than the one person who has, you guys would probably understand what exactly I'm doing. I mean, I've asked him numerous times for everybody's oath of office, your bonds, any complaints, basically your jacket, you know what I mean? Last 2 pay stubs. What's unclear about that? Why haven't I even got, you know, especially the law says within 24 hours when I'm here in person to respond. I can show you emails. Last time I got anything was him, December. Last December, matter of fact.
I've never gotten an email
What,
from you.
I know you haven't because I haven't sent you one. I'm talking about as far as just recently, like I said, the conversations you and me have had, you know, and like I said, I try not to bring too much of that in because it really tends to pee me off, especially when, like I said, these guys are out here breaking the same laws that you and me get ticketed for, get impounded for. The reason I bring up the thing about the license plates mostly too, is just because recently a friend of mine who passed away that I was doing business with turned around, wanted me and his other business partner for us to continue his business, to keep it going. And then when his son straightened his act up, basically, relinquished the company to him. Not a problem. Well, he ended up going to jail one night for something stupid. I don't know exactly what it was. It's not my business. But anyway, the next day I knew that those dogs out there needed to be fed. So I jumped in the truck, wasn't thinking about the license plates because usually they're good. They were expired for 2 days, impounded, $500 and something to get the vehicle out, $165 fine. But yet you guys got employees running around here like over here, you know, people following around. You know, if you don't want to be recorded, stay home and, you know, you're recorded everywhere you go. You've probably been recorded 200 times before you got here. You know. But that's basically, you know, I mean, it needs to stop. Because if not, like I said, I'm going to keep coming up here and I'm going to get more and more detailed. The words are going to start getting more and more harsh. You know, I don't want to go that route. You know, normally, you know, I'm usually cussing up a storm.
Yeah, and I
You know.
appreciate the fact that you don't. I don't
Right.
like some of the language that you use
Right.
now because
Yeah,
there are
yeah, believe me,
possibly
I appreciate
children
the fact that I'm not
that
doing it
listen
either.
to
I
this.
shouldn't have to do that.
And if they're here in the crowd, I definitely don't want it and I won't
I
tolerate
didn't,
it.
I didn't catch that last part. Say it again.
I said, if there are children present in here or are watching this, I don't appreciate that being said out there
Well,
to them.
But still, even.
I realize you have rights. So does everybody else. I'm always
Exactly.
amazed that the person standing here yelling at me usually believes that their rights supersede
No,
everyone
no, no,
else's.
no. I said we all have the same rights.
There you go.
You shouldn't be jailed for saying those words either.
Well, I like to think I have enough public decorum to not.
Well,
say
I generally
those.
do too, until people continue to keep trampling on my rights and then
Well-
expecting me to sit back and go, okay, which boot should I look today? You know, look today's there, sir. I'm not doing it.
I'd like
I'm
to
not
make a
bowing
motion
down no
to
more.
adjourn.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll third it for you. Honor your fucking oaths. Plain and simple.
We are adjourned.
Fucking flip burgers. I got no fuck food.